fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light, and he's doing it right, taking dackers and night, and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
There's 4, 5 on one. There's 2 on a girl. They pinned her to the floor. This one's getting a bully boy tactics, must from the TSG probably. Sergeant, yeah.
Hi, welcome back, guys. So we just had the lovely Joan Ginsberg from up North Wales, Public Child Protection Wales. We talked for ages with Joan, actually, so we're going to do another show with her on Liberty Tactics later on. And now we're joined by Mattie Ginsberg. We are son of Joan Ginsberg. Hello, Mattie.
How are you doing?
All right, love. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Good.
What's occurring?
No, not much. Just, the usual. Just trying to stay out of trouble, Just plugging away. So, yeah.
Now, you attended a council. Let's go back. How long ago was that?
It was last August, I think it was.
You went to a council meeting.
I think it was August.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what happened at that council meeting? Obviously, Mattie is
that's the only bit of media that hit, and there was a live on there. So yeah, let Mattie explain.
Yeah, Mattie, you explain.
Well, basically, I have a police statement, and one of the policemen said that I organised the thing. Yeah, because honest to God, these guys are insane. They turned up just the other night, unexpected, about 9:45 at night, to give me a piece of evidence that I hadn't even requested. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was just intimidation. It's just pathetic. You know what I mean? I was the first one to speak out around here. So obviously they didn't like what I was doing because I was taking it to their faces and going into the cop shop and filming stuff and speaking out about them being a paedophile protection gang.
Yeah.
Which they are, yeah. Like 9 out of 10 paedophiles get away with it.
Yeah, you're right.
Why do we pay the police? And they get, we know why 9 out of 10 get away with it, because of that little academic nonce from America called Alfred Kinsey.
Yeah, exactly.
These people are all powerful, when you were growing up, people would say to you, oh, you can't change the world. These guys literally do.
Yeah.
And it all stems from academia, from failed experiments. Like, do you know what I mean? They were raping children.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the council meeting. They were talking about the RSC in the council chambers, and I'd never been in the council chambers before, and I didn't know that you were allowed to go in. So a gang of us went in, and we sat at the back, and they started slandering PCP. So I stood up because this woman, she's called Becca Brown, and they were going on about the leaflets and how upset they were that, their constituents had had these leaflets through the doors. It was the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world would be that children go to school and get subjected to the stuff that's on them leaflets.
Exactly.
Which came from the Scottish curriculum.
Yeah.
Which we've all signed up to, yeah, and anyone that's compass mentors and that can read, yeah. You don't have to be a genius, okay? No. All you have to do is be able to read, yeah. So actually read something instead of like having a go and saying that it's, misinformation or whatever. Actually read something because it's there in the official documents, The UN documents, 0 to 4. We're going to talk about masturbation. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to teach it. This is not sex education. This is them teaching you how to do it, which is different. It's not an education.
No.
It's not education.
It's encouraging them to act in that way as well, Mattie, isn't it? It's all, a psychological warfare. They know what they're doing, these people.
Yeah, of course. And we all know, we don't have to, once again, you don't have to be a genius. If I was talking to my children, with flowery language, and I was telling them intelligent things from the moment they were born up until they're 5, 6, because you have different brain patterns that occur when you're a child to an adult. I think it's gamma up until you're 5 or 6, which is basically like a dream state, yeah. So children we obviously know, if I was born in Japan, I'd be speaking Japanese, yeah. We have the ability to learn languages, first of all.
Exactly.
We have this ability to learn anyway. No one teaches you grammar you would just understand grammar. But if you had to learn grammar now, you'd be like, oh my God, I cannot do that. That's so hard. But
Yeah.
but you know grammar.
Yeah.
You know, because you just made sense of it when you were a child. You thought that goes there, this is there, that commands that, whatever. But these guys are actually changing. I'm not a grammarian. I like language. I like learning languages and words and whatever. But these people are actually changing the definition of like, come on, that guy up in Scotland, that guy that raped a woman and said,
Oh
I'm a woman
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
They refer, do you know what? The judicial review that we lost, Kate, this is how much faith you should have in this justice system. When that guy raped that woman up there in Scotland and he tried to get away with it by saying that he was a woman, they referred to his penis as her
I
penis.
know, yeah. In the
The court
article,
of
wasn't
law.
it? So they were still playing that game in the actual article, even though when the charges began, when he first had the charges, he was just a bloke, wasn't he? And it was like
Yeah.
through this process, he's like, oh, actually, I identify as a woman. And then when they were talking about
Shocking.
him, what's the matter, Rick?
Sorry, no, the dogs were barking. I didn't realise I wasn't muted.
Oh, that's all right. We didn't hear you. It's all right. I forgot what we were saying now.
About the Scotland.
Oh yeah, yeah, and obviously then hasn't he gone back to identifying as a bloke now as well?
I don't know the end of the story, but the what I wanted to illustrate was that if you've any faith in the justice system, when they refer to a man's penis as the penis, they're practically breaking the laws of grammar. Grammar is a thing that's set in stone, yeah. The same as maths, yeah. You can't say 2 and 2 is 96 and a half. It's just
No,
not.
we'll try though.
Yeah, so they're changing language, you know, as they're basically changing history right now. We're living through a period of time where they're trying to change history, and it's happening in front of our eyes. And all the things that we've talked about are they've come to fruition. So there's no conspiracy theory here, because to conspire means with breath, yeah. You're just speaking, and it takes two people to conspire. And when people say you can't make this shit up, someone has thought about every infinitesimal detail to every newspaper story, to everything that's going on in politics, to the fake pandemic, to the war in Ukraine, to this stuff happening in the background while all that other stuff was happening, and everything happening at once. So you've got no
Yeah.
faith in politicians, you've got no faith in the police. They want you to have no faith in anything. So the only thing that we can have faith in is each other, because there's no Jasara and Asara or nothing like that. We don't need that. We just need to stick together
Yeah,
and
you're
say no,
right.
and we can do that locally everywhere at the same time. Yeah, that is the revolution. But it has to happen in people's heads first.
Yeah.
And it's also we've had.
And the thing is, we've had you know, go on.
I was going to just say we talked to prophet, some prophets in the past and people from religion, and they're tearing away these are Christian people. We can have faith in God. God can turn it all around like that. But they're stripping every bit of innocence. They're stripping the belief in God. They're just taking everything away. So I think we've also got to have a little bit of faith up there from upstairs, because we have spoke to various different people, and even Azar, said exactly the same thing. But they're taking everything away from us. To be honest,
I think this is the beginning of the end for them anyway. It can't get any worse than this, Matt. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're at the pinnacle. Like you say, you were one of the first who spoke out in your area. So compared to when you first started speaking about it to now, the reception, because you had like quite a frosty reception a lot of times up north, but you seem to have gained more support, I would say. Would you say that was right? Like the more people
I got thrown out of the chambers, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
We just wanted to finish that. That was all. I just wanted to finish on the court, Mattie, and what just happened there before we can go on with the backlash and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was the council chambers, and they were having
council chambers. Yeah.
So this representative, Becca Brown, was slandering PCP and saying that it was misinformation. So first of all, I stood up and I said, that's slander. because these council chambers, like, I was looking at these guys, and I know pure evil when I see it. They stank of evil. We know that there's boys' clubs, these secret organizations that have infiltrated everything. And if you don't think that's true, it's been going on since the Brotherhood of the Snake, yeah, which is a long, 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 long time ago. And so anyway, I was looking at these people thinking, these are pure evil. They're horrible car body people that don't care about children. And this woman was lying. So I stood up and said, that is slander, yeah? Because if you lie to somebody and it's written, it's libel. If you say it, it's slander. It was slander because it's totally unfounded what she's saying, because it's there set in stone. If you can read again, it's there. Read the documents. So then she carried on, and then there was this young buck. He was a teacher and a counsellor, and he also was deeply offended that his constituents had these leaflets through their doors. I don't know what universe these people live in, yeah, but have they not been to a pub? Have they not had a slap in the face? Have they not been two-timed? Has nobody knocked their clips over and jumped on them? They live in some fantasy world where everything's wrapped in cotton and just so imperfect, you know what I mean? Which is a load of bullshit. So this guy was saying that he was deeply offended about these leaflets, and he said, that this education would help people that have been abused, basically. And I just thought, you know what? I cannot sit here, because they were telling me to shut up and sit down. Like, there's no democracy, democracy, demos means of the people. Yeah, kratia means sovereignty. There is no such thing. If they're telling you to shut down, or shut up,
exactly,
and sit down, and we can't have a conversation, but I wasn't really supposed to be involved in the conversation because it was them two against them.
Yeah, it's like the public gallery. You're not allowed to say anything really. But
but I couldn't sit there while they're actually lying through their teeth. And I just said to that guy, sorry, mate, you are all WEF sellouts, because they are. They're affiliated with the WEF. And they're carrying out Agenda 21, so we know where all this stems from. It's a globalist thing. It's nothing to do with Wales. I said, by the way, mate, if you stand up and talk for kids like that, you're a paedophile. Don't throw me out. I'm leaving now.
Yeah, I've seen the footage.
That's all that happened. I went down to the street, and then they called the police because of that. I just walked out, and then they said they lied. They said the police had cleared out the gallery. They even reported that in the newspaper.
Yeah, they lied.
The councillor perpetuated the lie. Rebecca Brown. Not even that. She went one further. She got the Welsh television S4C. She had to film. They came around to her house because she had to call the cops because she was scared. Bullshit, total bullshit. And then they had this crappy little thing where, she was sitting in the house going like, oh yeah, it's been hard. And they had these close-ups of her hands clasped together, and it looked like a horror.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. So that was in conjunction with this online harms thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was saying, because I think I'd said it, that she's made a noose for her own neck, and then online she was saying after, because she was posting these things, so I was joining in saying, why don't you tell the truth about what happened in the chambers instead of lying to the public?
Yeah.
And she was saying, like, I'm not going to speak to someone who's made death threats. That's not a fucking death threat, you bellend. A death threat is, I want to kill you. You've made a noose for your own neck. So I said, how about this? You made a rod for your own back, Becca. These people are insane.
Yeah.
They're in charge of your children's future.
Yeah.
And they think it's okay to talk to children about wanking. I'm sorry, to be so blunt, but this is
what it is. That's what it is. You've got to be,
factor and stop,
What do you want? You're gonna your job now, is to be like, if I was a paedophile, I would go get a job as a teacher these days.
Well, because it's an easy opportunity. The DBS, what's that? It's not on convictions, though, is it? So unless you've been
now they can it's practically there. They're not going to get They're not
Well,
nothing
what
will be
about
happen
this?
because they got consent, you know.
This as well earlier that Kim sent me, Mattie, right? She screenshot it to me. I'll just send it.
Yeah.
So this was in a teachers group, right?
gosh, yes.
Earlier.
Yeah.
And it says on there,
I wonder if we can send it to Rick.
Mrs. House says life is too short to have bad sex. From a teacher.
What's that on a teacher's group?
Yeah, so that basically the child had written a quote about what the teacher said, and the teacher said life is too short to have bad sex.
Can we send that
Oh
to Rick so
my
maybe he
God.
could put it up on the screen?
Yeah,
Are
I'll
you
see if I can
real?
send it to Rick. But yeah, you're right. These people are in charge of
So Rick needs to
looking
check
after
Messenger.
looking after your children. It's absolutely mental. And you're right, they don't care about it. And they make up complete lies because the media completely sensationalized our whole day, didn't they? But somebody was recording. So we even saw Matty get up and say, well, he was in Welsh that you said it. I caught paedophile and WEF though. I caught those two. And I seen you go like that and walk out the door. There was no
No, that's all
police
right,
in
yeah.
there having
No,
to
no,
clear
no,
the
no,
gallery or any of that sort of
No, no.
nonsense.
Oh no, they did go in later, but they didn't clear the gallery.
Yeah.
And they said also to sensationalize it that they had to close the doors for their safety, which didn't happen either.
No, this is what I
You
mean.
know, as
Full out lies.
it's full out lies, right? So why can't we, as the public, if it is a democracy, why can't we have a conversation with these people?
Exactly.
You know, because they hide behind
Not really,
corporations to start with it. Like, you know, no one's at fault. You're an agent for a corporation, yeah, a limited company. So the limited company is the one that they hide behind. So
Exactly.
you can't get the person
Yeah.
for what they're doing. You can in some ways if you put them on notice or whatever, but these people don't care about the law.
No, they don't.
They don't even
give a
care
shit. 'Cause
about
they
the
know they're
law.
protected within it, Matty, don't they? And that's the thing.
Exactly.
It's not there for us, the justice system, unfortunately, and that is the thing that people do have to realise. The judicial system is ruined. You know, it really is not. It's not for us. It's not for our justice at all.
No.
You know,
Well,
we know that from what happened with the judicial review. That should have been an open and shut case. You know.
exactly. Let's just refer back to her penis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the judicial system. It's a joke, but yeah, so we can't rely on that.
No.
The only thing we can do is get this public momentum and
Yeah.
get people to like snap out of this dream. But you have to remember that, you know, if you do consume the media and their narrative, that you've been hit over the head so much by all this stuff. And if you don't believe the power of the media and the spell casting, like, you know, it was Brexit for how long? Do you remember Brexit all the time? Brexit this, Brexit that, into a pandemic, into a war. It's like
Jumping out of constant. It's constant
Get
fear.
people living in fear, yeah, exactly.
Constant fear, and it works. You can control people like that. They know it works.
And then shutting down people who are just trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
This is what we are struggling. I mean, it's gone to, I mean, people are just over the last few months just moaning that they've been taken off PayPal. Like we went down from PayPal 2 years ago. You know, trying to get the word out about this podcast. And this morning we couldn't share it. People were
Well, no, I
saying
wish
they
I
couldn't
could
share
now.
it.
There was a lot of people sending me things saying they couldn't.
So they couldn't share it. The censorship is just incredible, and every mainstream organisation will not talk about it.
No, they
Yeah,
won't.
and
As
you
you
know
know
what,
as
like-
well.
how disadvantaged are we? Because the narrative is basically what keeps this going. And if you have control of the means of the narrative, you can get a story out across the world straight away, and everyone hears that same story. Whereas we don't have posters. Like the posters that we have is like we've printed them out, or like we drive in on our cars. But if you go to Halford's garage, they have a "We proudly sponsor LGBTQ"
Yeah.
poster. Where's that come from? Who's paid for it? You
Yeah.
know, you've got Vanguard and BlackRock and all these.
BlackRock
You know,
specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just like trying to chip in together, yeah, like to pay for this court case.
I know, it's madness. We've been on about that today, actually. The amount of money and funding that comes up behind this agenda is absolutely phenomenal. And people don't understand how much is invested in this. And, you know, it's like, it really is like difficult to break through against these people because they're powerful, but that's why it's going to take, like you just said, public action, like a movement. Do you know what I mean? It's way more than that. It's not, it wouldn't even be fixed with one court case, even if we won anyway, because this is such a drenched agenda that's come down from a long time ago, that we've got to, it's not going to be as easy. It'll take us a generation to pull us back round, if
but I
longer.
don't think just like pull us back around, because we don't want to even go back to where we were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, I see.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We all like were subjected to like the number one trauma-based thing, being pulled away from your parents and having to go to school, where you have to, be uniform, you have to be the same as everyone else, sit down, shut up, we're teaching you this, but it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because like 13 years, you should be a genius. You should be an
Yeah.
absolute genius. If you picked up the guitar for a year, you'd be halfway good on it. If your heart was into it. But there's no choice in school. You've got maths, English, Welsh,
Yeah,
all this
exactly.
stuff,
Exactly.
history, and we know about history now, don't we?
Yeah.
Like,
so most of what you're learning you don't need, but a lot of it is lies. So is it like it is a waste of time,
Yeah, so if we were to progress, like, we need a better system than that, yeah. That's there already, because that was failing. But now you've got this hypersexualized, this isn't anything about money or anything like that. There's like 9 families that have most of the money in the world. This is more about money. It's evil, and it's satanic, yeah.
It is satanic.
At the core of it, and if you can't get your head around that, yeah, then there's people that believe in it, even if you don't believe in it. There's people that practice this stuff, even if you go and look at the Sabbatean Frankists, yeah.
Yes.
Their main thing was to defile a child, because a child is the most pure in essence and closest to God. So if they defiled that child, then they would invoke their Messiah to come down. Like how retarded is that?
I
Sorry
know
to use
it
that
is.
word, but
It's
it's a
shocking.
retardation to have that kind of mental faculty. And then you've got the likes of, Crowley and sex magic, where, okay, I'm going to have sex with a child, but I'm going to go to another dimension, and I'm
Aleister
going to
Crowley.
become a king in another dimension, but steal the essence of a child. Go and look into these people there, because, he walked around free until he was dead.
Yeah.
So do all these other people.
So did Jimmy
Yeah,
Savile,
exactly.
all of them.
All of them do, Mattie. All of them do.
Yeah, but Jimmy Savile compared to Alfred Kinsey was nothing. He was a choir boy,
Yeah.
because the extent of what's going to happen from the mentality of Alfred Kinsey,
Yeah.
well, it's here already. People do think
It is
children
here already.
Yeah.
babies are sexual from birth. Have you ever seen 2 babies have sex with each other?
No,
It's just
exactly.
shocking. And
Exactly.
Brian Garish delved quite
Because-
into it. And,
Because they can't, but the definition of sexual can't apply to a baby.
No,
So
it
this is
can't.
the way. And then when
But
they
that's what
say
they're
that,
trying to push.
Yeah, that
we
is
even
what they're
discussed
trying-
with Brian that there are some that, while the baby's still attached to the umbilical cord, that's how deprived this has gotten.
yeah,
I mean, it's
disgusting.
abhorrent, it's evil.
It's evil.
And we've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about it. And there's a lady that's talking about it. Well, should we say bye to Mattie first?
Yeah.
Mattie,
yeah,
we need to do a show
Yeah.
during the week, in the
definitely.
next couple of weeks or something, and really delve into this
Yeah.
further.
Definitely.
Can you just give this podcast on a bit of a plug and say why people need to get behind Public Child Protection Wales? Because we've got Tanya Joy Gibson coming up any minute, and she's on her travels, God bless her, and she's literally taking time out of her day to pop on here to support us. So over to you, Mattie.
Okay, so I had a thought once late at night, okay, and I just thought if every man was sterile, okay, then we wouldn't be able to have children in future, or every man, woman, okay. So it would just be us here. So if you were walking on the street, why would you have someone cleaning the street? Why would you have banks? Why would you have any institution? Because it would only be us here, and it would only be us surviving. So there is no future.
Yeah, exactly.
The children are the future of the world, yeah? We don't own, we're just borrowing it now. We're the keepers of this place, and we're supposed to be leaving it, yeah? In not a state of disrepair. We're supposed to be leaving it. It's supposed to be a progression. They talk about progression. So why don't we progressively get better? And we never.
Exactly. So
Why do we have
progressively getting worse.
institutions like the United Nations that are set up for world peace? Has anyone known world peace? But now these guys are coming into school saying that, you know, we need to talk to kids about masturbation from the age of 4. And you think they're going to grow up not affected by it? They are. You're talking about a jilted generation, rapists, murderers, druggies, the worst. And that's happening right now, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why people need to get behind us, down to
Yes.
these 5 parents.
Yes, that's why people need to get behind it. And
Thank
it's not
you
a lot.
so much,
It's
Mattie.
not a lot of money, guys. Come on, like how much do you spend when you go out on a weekend on shit? How about the
Exactly.
lads that like football pay 60 quid to go up the fucking country to watch a game when your children are being sexualized right now?
Exactly. That's a good point, isn't there? Like football tickets. Yeah, Mattie, you're
Exactly.
absolutely
Mattie
bang on.
Ginsberg, thank you so much, and thanks for all the work you're doing, supporting Public Child Protection Wales, and of course your amazing mother.
And you, ta-ra, guys.
Mattie,
Hey,
ta-ra,
Matty,
guys.
just before you go, Matty,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Have you got a YouTube channel by any chance?
I haven't. I have, but there's nothing on it really. Just like bits and bobs of stuff. I'm not like I don't really put myself out there like that, and
He's
it's
just
more like
supporting us.
Facebook lives and stuff like that. I did, and
Yeah, Facebook Lives you do, don't you? Yeah.
but the most important thing is, the most valuable commodity we have, is what like money doesn't count as fake. It's promissory note, it says on it. But you only get that money because it's an exchange of energy.
Yeah.
Most people don't tie up their shoes and leave the fucking house.
Yeah.
It's about time you did it.
Exactly.
Because it's like the ship has left the port, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers,
Mattie
Mattie.
Ginsberg, thanks so
you.
much.
Okay, sorry for swearing.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Ta-ra,
darling.
guys.
Bye.
Boys, ta-ra.